Hello and welcome to Wednesday night. It's Tinkering with Tech, of course, and I tell you what, this is I'm super excited tonight because I have a guest on tonight that I am just like, I, it was funny because I was just telling her before this. I said I'm just glad you said yes, and she's like, why not? And so I mean, it's just so matter of fact, but I love her to death. And without further ado, Yifat, tell everyone who you are, what you do, and all that kind of stuff. Yifat Cohen, say hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
So this is so cool. You and I go back way back to the early days of G Plus,
Yep,
right?
for
And
sure.
we're really like the first people to have hangouts on air and start kind of like tinkering with like,
I
hey, what
think so.
happens when I do
I
this?
think so. I think so. I have to tell you though, I actually saw. Maybe I don't know if you know this trivia or not, but do you know who the very first hangout on air was? The first broadcast ever.
No.
Do you remember Will I Am from the Black Eyed Peas? He did
Yes,
that.
that's why.
That was the very first hangout on air, and I watched that and had no idea what I was watching. Had no idea. Isn't that
It's
crazy?
so funny.
It's crazy.
Oh
I
my
mean,
man, we had some stars. I mean, we had Obama, we had
yes, yes.
there's so much you and I talking about this earlier, and it's kind of like it's like a funeral, all the deaths, we had this and then it goes away, then we had that, and then it's like,
That's kind of what our topic is tonight. Heroes are dying, right? I mean,
yes.
oh my goodness.
um yeah, so I used to
Yeah.
suck on social media completely, and I would post stuff on Facebook and it'll be like cricket cricket, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I have the same stuff that many people have today. It's kind of like you don't feel significant if you don't get any attention online, um, which is horrible, right? Because it kind of like brings in all the suicide and depression and all that stuff that happens. So then Google Plus came out in beta, and I think you and I both were among the first one to be there and go like,
Mm-hmm.
"What the hell is this platform? What
Yes.
happens when I block you? What happens when I ignore you? What
E-
happens when I stop?"
exactly. I had no idea how to use it. Exactly. I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is.
Nobody knew, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you know what? This is, I think, one of the best experiences that I've had, because when you come somewhere and there are no gurus, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's trying to figure out exactly what happens, then
Mm-hmm.
there's like beautiful collaboration. And right, and it's like, I don't care sharing your post, because who cares? Nobody knows anything. He figured it out. Let's
That's
share
right.
it,
That's
right?
right.
And now it's like, no, it's the guru. It has to come from me. So I'm gonna swipe your screenshot, and I'm gonna take your site, and I'm gonna create my own stuff because I'm the guru now. Um, and I think in a lot of websites and social platforms, that's kind of like the mentality. There's
Mm-hmm.
like the top however many in whatever nation industry, and everybody's trying to kind of like emulate them and be like, well, I need to be Marie Forleo. I'm not skinny or something, but let me be Marie Forleo, or let me be
right.
Frank Kern, or let me be whatever, right? Let me be
Mm-hmm.
Gary Vee. Let me start cussing all the time. uh,
That's so true. Yeah.
but what happens is like you lose your voice,
Yeah.
and that's why copywriting sucks. You have to learn copywriting
Mm-hmm.
because you don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to speak, because you're not Marie Forleo, and you don't know how to speak Marie Forleo, but you're trying to be Marie Forleo. Right? So a lot of people, I think, what happened is our um, self-esteem went down, and a lot
Yeah.
of like a lot of kind of like, why I'm not as good as, where Google Plus was just like, we're all geeks, we're all
Yeah.
nerds
Yeah.
here, right? We're
Yeah.
all the people who just like tinkering with tech at the
But
beginning.
but I can't believe that you ever had a problem speaking in front of people. Did
No,
you?
only when
Because there's no way. I mean, you just do so well with it, and you always. I mean, because I know you've actually gone to Google, right? I mean, in the early days, you
yeah,
actually
yeah,
went there and were,
yeah,
because I see some of the pictures where you're at a podium and you're
yeah.
speaking and all that kind of stuff. So, but that I think that kind of comes natural to you, don't you think? I mean, for you,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, it's so I'm the oldest of five,
Okay.
and I wanted to be a teacher.
Oh,
so I so I always taught people. I'm like, okay, so here's what we're
nice.
doing. So yeah, that's exactly what happened with the G Plus Go to Gal, right? Like, this is how you use Google Plus. And Google noticed. I think Google Israel were the first one to notice, and then they flew me to Israel, and they said, "Hey, will you come to Israel and speak about what Google Plus is and what Hangouts are. And I'm like, heck yeah, are you paying the tickets?
How awesome is that, though? I mean, to have that and to be able to do that kind of thing on something that you actually love. I mean, because I mean,
Yeah.
like we said at the beginning, had no idea what it was, but once we found out what it was and we learned about this Hangouts and we learned about the stuff that Hangouts can do and the social, I think I was talking to you beforehand about this, the truly social network because of Hangouts. I think Hangouts is what made that happen.
Well, you know what's interesting about Hangouts is that that's the first platform, I think, where strangers were comfortable talking
Yeah.
to other strangers,
How
right?
true? Yeah, how true is that? That's so
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Before it was Skype, and if I don't know you, don't know, or
Yeah.
Facebook, right? Like, don't know, I don't know, not accepting you.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Exactly.
right? So, I think what happened because it was gradual,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that was so hard. That's the difficult part for the new users. For us, it was very gradual. Hey, just post and stuff like that. It's very
Mm-hmm.
basic. And then Hangout come, and then Ripples come. Oh, Ripples. And
Oh
then
yeah, that's right.
you were famous for a second. Right? So we had Ripples, and we had so many things that I forget now, right? But it was so gradual, and so for us, we kind of finished something, and then something new came along, and the
Mm-hmm.
newbies were like, we just don't know what to do
Mm-hmm.
because they haven't spent 6 months, kind of coming up. But what happened to us at the beginning, right? It was just us posting, and then it was just comments, and then they opened up chat, like there was the Hangout chat, so we could chat with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then they opened just regular Hangouts, and I
Yeah.
was a black man because I wasn't comfortable on camera, so I had remember those like little speaking
Yes.
sharks and dogs.
Yes. Yes.
I was a black man
That's so
because I'm
funny.
dark on the inside.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And then Right Hangouts on Air came, but it was
Yeah.
kind of like very gradual.
Mm-hmm.
So and what happened? Hold on, here comes the call.
No worries.
Um, so what happened was that so the way that Google works, right? You put a word or a question into Google search and you get articles. And in Google Plus, we got people.
Mm-hmm.
So we really connected based on passions, not necessarily just because,
Yep.
and so because we're both passionate about the same thing, we can spend hours
Mm-hmm.
talking about that passionable, thing we're passionate about. And I don't know any other place that has like passion based
I don't either.
connection.
I know. And the thing is I think it was December of what 2012 maybe. I think is when Communities came out. That was the best thing ever. That's one of the
Really?
best inventions I think of anything because you were talking about like-minded people. Because you
Yeah.
can have you could
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
topic. Like
Yeah.
I'm bilingual in Spanish, so there was a language one where you could go into language one, and then it had all the Spanish and French and all the different languages there, and you could get in there and socialize with those peoples in
Yeah.
those language. You could actually start a hangout from within
Yeah.
the community,
Yeah. Yes.
and do that kind of
Yes.
stuff. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Building that collaboration, building that friendship, and all that kind of stuff. And it was just really really cool. I mean, and then they brought photos in. Everything was in one place. Everything
Yes.
was all together. It was just
Yeah.
like you could do
You
all
know,
this
yeah.
stuff. So,
One of my most shared posts on Google Plus was an image of how Mike Elgin described Google Plus.
mm-hmm,
And he said, if he was talking about circles. So if you write a blog post, and if you share it with you write a post, and if you share it with the world, it's a blog post or an article. And if you share it with your work people, then it's just a work thing. And if you
mm-hmm.
share it with your family, it's a family event. And if you share it just with your grandma, it's like a letter or something,
Right, that's true.
right? Because you could go down in
Mm-hmm,
layers of who can see stuff.
mm-hmm.
Um,
I know, I know. We actually at my work, my real job, my real job. We actually used it a private Google Plus community as our intranet.
is that
And
is
it
that like
worked.
a G Suite?
G Suite does that now, but I'm just saying we used to do it on the regular, just regular Google
Google
Plus,
Plus.
and we just did it in a community. It was fantastic. It was just so good because it was one place where they could come in. It was private. I didn't have to worry about that. And then we could put like list stuff. We could put list of forms that we
Yeah.
all use and all that kind of stuff. It worked out great for communication. Now that's going bye bye.
And when Hangouts integrated all of Drive in there, and you can actually work on the same document,
Yes, yes,
they
exactly.
even came out with like fantastic short videos. Remember the one where it says like, okay, I'll ping you on that. He's like, why? He's like, we'll talk
Oh
about it.
yeah,
We're talking now. Remember?
yes, yes, yes. That was a great
We'll
video.
circle back. Why? We're
Why?
done. And
I
he's like,
know that's
why?
right. That's right. Yeah,
So I
no. So
actually I showed that so Google, we had a social good summit day here,
mhm.
and we wanted to clean the air in Austin, and I'm the only hangout person, so they invited me in for the first meeting. And remember the Revenge of the Giant Face from Inglorious Bastards?
Yes, yes.
So my face was on the big screen. It was a theater. Like, Revenge.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
and then we connected speakers from New York with so we had virtual speakers and we had the regular panel and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
we're trying to figure out how to clean the air in Austin. And so some people were like, okay, increase parking prices during certain hours. Or what was the other one? Don't allow to drive into downtown. I'm like, how about you work from home?
Yeah, there you go.
Right? And they're like, what? And I was like, I was the one with the microphone because I was controlling the stuff. So we
Mhm.
worked from home. So we worked with the governor office in Austin, and he declared one day of everybody staying at home, like all the government employees. And we got all the big company CEOs into Google offices to explain how you can work from home. And so I had 7 minutes to explain what Hangouts were, and I played that video. And I was like, and that's how you get it done. That's it. Like, it's done, right?
That's
Uh,
awesome.
and they worked from home for a day. And I'm like, yeah, Google, come
Mhm.
on.
There
You
you
got
go.
this thing.
Jump on it.
How?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Why do you suck so bad?
I know. I know. I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of programs out there like we're using today. We're using Zoom and stuff instead of Hangouts for this, just because. And I tell my friends this all the time, and people in my community. I say, this is what Hangouts should have turned into. I mean, if they would have stayed focused and done all this kind of, they just seem to. I don't know if they have just too much money and they just like, hey, we can do that. Let's just do it, and then they just don't really follow through. I really believe that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Or like
frustrating.
Gideon said, just like really, really bad management.
Right. Yeah. Or who is managing this? I think is what he's. Who is managing this even? Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think that's the frustrating thing because they really do have great ideas, great tools, great things out there. It's just that I don't know how much they really push it. I mean, to make it what it could be. I don't know.
And like at the beginning when Google Plus came started, they wanted to know cyber identity, right? Like
Mm.
the whole goal was like to figure out what you like, what you talk about, your knowledge graph, your relationship graph, all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and all that revolved around Google Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they have the Google Home. Why would they win with that, right? Like a lot of people can go to Alexa because they don't trust Google anymore. And now what is Google missing? They're missing all the searches that are happening on Amazon and not happening on Google because people don't use them, they don't buy them, they don't trust them, they don't
Yeah,
have to
they
go
sure are
home.
making it hard. I mean, that's for sure. They
Yeah.
sure do make it difficult in
Hey,
that
it's late
way.
over there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, always. I couldn't
It's
help it.
always like
That's right.
so. Yeah, so we kind of rose from that, right? We kind of rose from
Hmm.
engagement, and that's I think what I fell in love with in Google Plus. And I don't see that happening online anymore. Like
Hmm.
everybody's kind of like broadcasting and marketing. It's like buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff,
Hmm.
and we forgot how to talk. um and so I'm trying to shift the world to be like, come on guys, remember how you move into a new city and you want to meet new people that you have something in common with? What do? You go to meetups, you go to chamber of commerce, you go to events, you like sign up for stuff. So you don't walk into a group and go like, hey everybody, I'm in town, who wants to do live video? right?
I
I'm
know.
here.
Yeah.
I've arrived.
I just,
So don't do that online. Yeah.
because I think like webinars, even even the focus on, I think webinars are changing and changing. It's becoming more meetings than it is webinars because of that. You just have one guy sitting there going, webinar is just one thing, and everybody's just learning something. They're changing that. They're adding more people. They're adding guests. They're bringing other people and making it more social. I love what you do. Tell them what you do with your show, because that's what you bring, anybody that wants to come in, right? I
Anyone.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, anyone.
So talk about that a
So
little bit. I love it. I
yeah,
love
so since the beginning of time when Google Hangouts came about, um, right, I thought like, what's the value? What's the benefit of anyone coming in to watch me live if they can't interact with me,
it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And how can I move them from passive viewers to active viewers? And so all my shows are 30 minutes me interviewing the guest because I'm that geek and I like to ask questions. And after 30 minutes, you get to come in and you ask them whatever you want. So when will you ever get to talk to the VP of marketing of Walt Disney? Never. But Daria
Mm-hmm.
Musk did, and Sarah Hill did, and I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember who else was there. Or like the youngest president of the NAACP,
Mm-hmm.
or which was really cool because I had a teenage girl coming in and going like, hey, he moved from politics into startups supporting like investment and stuff, and he wanted to kind of like level the play field between um, um, minority companies and regular
Mm-hmm.
companies. And so a teenage girl goes like, so should I go to college? And I'm like, what is your thinking about that? You've been around, politics, business. What should I do? And I was like, that's fantastic. Because when can you do that? When can you ever come in and ask, you know, someone who's been there, done that, anything that you want, unscripted, not in the comments, but face to face, so that
That's
you
so
don't type
awesome.
something, right? And then they go like, I think you meant,
That's right. Yeah,
right?
or they didn't understand, or they didn't understand the question and stuff like that. I see that a lot of times. There's a lot of chat and things like that. We have chat tonight, as a matter of fact, on our YouTube video. But a lot of times we have to maybe come back with another question. I'm not real sure what
Right.
you meant with this or whatever. But yeah, exactly. By bringing somebody in live, there's just
It's
something about that. It's just something about that is just so. It just makes it. That's the human part. That's the part that we have to have, I think. And
yeah.
I love that you do that. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, keep
Thank
going.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really funny because people are keep going like live video is the best, live video is the best, and I'm like, yeah, what's the difference between live and pre-recorded if you're not interacting with your audience in real time?
Mm-hmm.
Then
That's
why
right.
do I have to watch you live? It just takes me longer. I'll just wait, watch you twice as fast when I'm done. Skip the interesting parts
Yeah,
and
that's true. That's
right.
true. Or go to the. I can skip to the parts that I really want to go over. But yeah, exactly. It's that
Yeah.
interaction. It's the human element that I think that they miss out on a lot of times.
Yes, and that's my TM. I want to be TM. I don't know, human element TM.
There you
But
go. There you go.
but a lot of people are going like, I have camera fright. I don't, I don't know what to say on live videos. I don't know how to interact. What should I talk about? I'm mumbling. I'm like, right, but bring another person in, and it's a conversation. You forget you're on live video. Now you're talking,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly. I mean, that's because Richard, since we're talking on it right now, Richard in the comments, he says out there are a lot of people who just won't do video chat, etc. And he does have points there, but you can still come in even with your voice. I mean, if you don't want to
you
be
got me
seen
with your
on,
voice.
yeah, if you don't want to be seen on screen, I get that. Sometimes, I mean, I understand that there are people that are real reluctant. I know when I do a game show every Friday night, and my wife, I started bringing her on the game show and stuff, and she was real reluctant at first too.
Yeah,
She had to. Oh, hold on, I gotta go get a shower and all this kind of stuff.
yeah.
Whatever,
I know. You just show up. You're like,
I know. Just have
I'm good.
fun. I said I did my hair beforehand, so I'm fine.
Yeah. So much easier for guys.
I know that's true. That is true. But
But the thing is, the
then.
reason why they don't show up is
Mhm,
because they're self-conscious, and the way
mhm,
to remove yourself from like being, the one you're staring at, talk to another person. Otherwise, it's just you and the camera, and you're like, ah.
mhm. Yeah, really. I mean, that actually kind of makes it easier. I think if you know that you're not going to be the only one. That's a lot of things that I try to do too. When I like every once in a while I'll bring my community into we'll just do a hangout. One of these shows, I'll just have the community, and it'll be all of
Yeah.
us on screen just talking about a topic or talking about things that, that we've been through or what we like or what we, that kind of thing. That helps them be more comfortable being on screen and everybody sees it. I think that's an important part. And if you think about it, I think about of the old days, a lot of times those shows they would have 4 and 5 people on. A lot of sports shows,
Yeah.
went to that where they had 4 and 5 people on and stuff. Now, granted, those people don't mind being on screen because they're probably used to it. But I think that helps. I think it helps to not be the only one, or if you need to, like cough or something like that, you
Yeah.
can. Somebody else can go. Somebody else can take over and do that. And I think that's a really cool thing. I think that's a neat thing about it. That's a great point. You bring up a great point about that. That's good.
And let me take it a step further in communities. So why not make a Zoom button available at all times? So whenever a community member wants to talk to
Yeah,
another community member, they don't need you. They're a community, right? It's not a fan club. So let them talk.
absolutely.
Why not put that as the support, right? Like you finish a module and you want to talk, discuss it with people. Hey, you can see how many people
Hmm.
are online right now. Just message them, allow them to message each other, and be like, hey, do you want to jump on? You want to work on this together right now?
Great.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Great example. Great point. Exactly what we have in our community. There's a link up there at all times. They can go in and chat, use that and talk to each other, or they can, whatever. If they can put a chat in there, and then I can go and respond to them if I want to. The other thing is too is it's kind of cool. I do a daily tip for them every day,
Uh-huh.
and they can come live for that, and then we can socialize a little bit after that as well. So that's kind of cool too. Anything to build that community, give the confidence, I think is important. So yeah, that's a good. I like that. I
So
like
how
that.
how uh, how are your members using that? Do they use it a lot?
They all there's a couple of them that come. Like last night, I had I think 6 members that came in to the daily tip that I was giving. They watched the daily tip, and then we ended the recording, and because I keep that for them, they have a daily tip
Yeah.
that they can go back and reference at any time. And it was great. It was 6 of us sat there, chat. We talked about some. I think we were talking about Blogger or something. And it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the social part, and the part that you get for that. I think is really it's worth it to me.
Yeah, 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 totally. And
Yeah,
you're hitting on another point, right? Like connection, not content. So, right?
exactly.
If you build that connection with the community, and if you actually build a community where people feel like they belong, like we in Google Plus, we fight over it, right? You don't leave just because, but oh, it's $3 more a month than this other guru. Okay, whatever. I belong here,
Yes.
right? Like there's nothing that can kind of like take you away from your tribe because you're building a tribe, right? But if you're only about content, then it's like YouTube is filled with content, and we're still fat and lazy and broke and sick and right.
It's
We don't
true.
exercise.
So true.
Yeah,
So
it's
true. Is for me anyway.
well, me too. I'm actually going over. A friend of mine is helping me clean my gut, and
Okay.
well, I don't know how. Never mind. I
No,
was like,
that's
we're
fine.
gonna go
That's
into a
fine.
whole channeling
That's
thing, but
fine. That's fine. Go ahead. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. That's
but
good.
but you talk like I talked to someone, like I messaged someone. I was like, hey, I took this and this didn't work. So now what do we
Hmm.
do? And I'm doing this and this didn't work, right? But
Hmm.
there's so many articles and so many videos and so many products of
Yes.
healing your gut.
Yes. That's so true.
You get lost in the content, but
Hmm.
and you need that one expert that goes like, out of the top 10 products that you can take, this one
Hmm.
is the right one for you,
Right.
right? And if you build a community around that, then you're good.
There you go. There you go.
Life is great. Ta-da! So
Yeah.
should we talk about like why are the hero dying?
Let's do it. Let's talk about
Let's do it.
why are the heroes
Why
dying? Why
are
would
the
you?
hero
Yeah,
dying?
let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. So I want to share I don't have the book, but Donald Miller, guys, if you get a chance, grab the book that's called Story Brand. The guy, I think I'm gonna mess it up, but I think he was a screenplayer or something. He wrote stories for movies, or maybe he analyzed the movies. But he realizes there's a format to a story, and we're all about stories. Like everything falls into stories, right?
Hmm.
Um, Even now, everybody's like, story, tell your story. What's your story, man?
That's right.
What's story? Because we listen to stories.
Mm-hmm.
So he designed a path, and he said like the problem with all businesses is that they position themselves as the hero. And if I am the hero, then I cannot enter your story because in your story, you are the hero.
Mm.
So I cannot be a hero and help you. You won't be my client. And he said that this is why Hillary lost because it was her slogan was it I'm with her, right?
Yeah, I
So
think
she's
so.
the
Yeah.
hero. She's the hero. I'm not the hero, but I want to be the hero. And here comes Trump and goes like, "Let's all make America hell great again. I got a plan." And we go like, "Okay, let's hear the plan." So if I can share the screen,
Yeah, see if you can share the screen.
and, and I can share it on Zoom if you want.
Yeah, that's where I want you to share it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Just say so. Tell me if you see it.
Yeah. Yep, we got it. Perfect.
Okay. So if I click on this and I go on that, let's see. One. No, no. Uh, okay, so we have a hero right here. This is too big. We have a character. That's the
Mm-hmm.
hero. That's our client, and our client has a problem, and the problem might be external or internal. It might be like, I want everybody like I want to be a great public speaker, and my internal problem is I don't think I got what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they meet a guy who understands what their fear is, the internal fear, not just the external one.
Mm-hmm.
And they give them a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the plan goes like, and then he calls them to action. Now that you have the plan, go do this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do this, he says, you're going to get this thing or you're going to get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at Star Wars, which is a little there. So Luke, he's the hero. And his problem is, am I a Jedi? What about the evil empire? What am I doing? Can I even defeat them? I don't know what to do. And he meets Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's already a Jedi, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
understands, he knows exactly. And he gives him a plan. Use the force, Luke.
There you
And then
go.
he calls him into action. Now that you use the force, go defeat the empire. And he says, if you don't defeat the empire, if you don't use my plan and take the action that I ask you, then we all die or we all win, we all live. So it's huge, huge, huge efforts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like things that happen. So in our life, if you're looking at this as your own business, right? This is your client. Your client has a problem and you are the guide. And so all that you have to do online is not be the hero. That's why heroes are dying. Not be the hero, but be the guide and go in there and be like, hey, Mr. Customer, potential client of mine, I see you have a problem. I already solved it. Do you need some help? In my world, I will bring them on to live video like this for 5-10 minutes, and I'll help them live in front of everybody. Why? A, because I help them, right?
Right.
I actually want them to get some help. B, maybe there are other people with the same problem. So instead of me
Yeah,
doing
there you
explaining
go.
this over and over again
Yeah.
to everybody, here's
Yeah.
a video that I just created with a problem that my clients have that I didn't have to sit there and think, what problems do they have? They just
Right.
come and tell me.
Right. Perfect.
So, right. And so now I have user generated content with other people where I am not the hero. I am this guide who can actually solve a problem. So if you have the same exact problem, you're looking at me like, oh my God, she just solved it for someone. Can she help me solve the other problem that I have? Can she do this? And then they connect with you.
Yep.
Right. So it changes the entire conversation right online, and it makes you become a problem seeker. Like what I want you to do is go out to the world and be like, what problems can I solve? And then solve them face to face, like this.
Yes. That's perfect. And that's what you do. That's your job, right? I mean, that's what you
That's my
do
job.
for a living. This is what you do for a living. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
What
what
a
I do
great
for a
business.
living is a lot of people want to be seen everywhere. They want the Gary V
Mm.
content thing. Do you know that one?
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. Yes.
So Gary Vee takes one keynote and turns it into a billion and one assets. He turns it into podcast and YouTube videos and YouTube playlist and Instagram and Pinterest and everything that you can think about. And he puts it on all the podcast platforms and all the image platforms and all everything, right? From 1 hour of video.
Mm-hmm.
So he has 20 people after him filming, editing, cutting, doing all that stuff. And he only does that for the reach and visibility. Like he never said, hey, I pay these 20 people however much, right, to take this 1 hour keynote and turn it into 1,000,000,001 pieces. And I made $100,000. He never says that. He only says I made, and it got 35 million views. So his currency is attention, which is a very important currency, right? Um, so he's like, people are paying to me. I'm always in front of them. And why is it important? Because right now things are great. Economy is doing good. Social is good. Everything is fantastic. When things are not that great and people start looking for the experts, then who do they remember? Who was there? What did they see? Right? And so if you now spend these awesome years positioning yourself as the Sherpa, as the guide, and you do it with live video on your own, with your phone, right? So I have levels. I'm like, okay, you can do this, just this. That's all you need. You need a phone and 30 minutes a day, and you can do this. Now, if you want to take the next level, you can do it from your computer. If you want the next level, you're going to be live everywhere. If you want the next level, you're going to be a live community. And if you don't want to learn all the tech that you and I have spent years learning and mastering, we will do it for you. All you have to do is show up on Zoom, and we'll position you like Grant Cardone or Gary Vee.
There you go.
And stuff like that. Yeah. So I have two missions. One mission is to end loneliness by doing exactly what you're doing, having people like you that have communities that are really communities, and going like, hey guys, do you want a community about that topic? Go there. This is the place for horses, and this is the place for the same communities that we had on Google Plus, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Topic driven. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Get all the photographers together, get all the astronomers together, get all those different, whatever your interests are, get in a group and be social with it. Yes, absolutely.
Right, because that was Blab. Remember Blab?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So Blab was like just people sitting there for 5-7 hours a day talking about their shared passions. And so they can be sitting on Blab, well, not anymore because Blab didn't want them to sit there. But they can be sitting on your own domain, paying you $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, right? Just for the privilege of not having to explain what a funnel means, not having to explain, all the jargon, being understood, being with people who care about the same stuff that they care about. So if we have all these pockets, then all of a sudden, even though you're not here with me, I finished this conversation and I'm fulfilled. You understood me, you heard me. I mattered, I contributed, I belong. All these little things that we need in our lives that we don't get because our family doesn't give a damn, our friends don't care, right? So that's my goal. My goal is to help you guys build these little communities. But in order to get there, you have to become that brand that people want to be attracted to. And in order to do that, you actually have to not be afraid of the camera, go out, talk to people, do it live, help. And you can do it for free. It doesn't cost you any money to do that.
There you go. In the comments, I noticed Christina just put in there, she says, I've been using Discord recently. I've been using Discord recently to hang with my like-minded people. I think that's awesome. I think that's a great, whatever that avenue is. Yeah, whatever that avenue is, I think is important.
Yeah, and now we have, Twitch, that's why they're so big, right? They're all about community based around gamers.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody needs to explain what Fortnite is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you play that game?
It's like, no, I do not. No, my kids both do. Both of them do, and they're pretty. I actually created a video, like an advo. They were doing a tournament in the weekend. I made a tournament video for them, so I helped them out doing that. They had fun, but
yeah, but I like, they go on Twitch and they find people who are just as, I don't get it, passionate about Fortnite or passionate about that Nintendo thing, jumping thing. I like.
That's funny. It's so true. I know, okay, if that's your passion, whatever you want.
Right,
but
at least
they're being social, though. I like the social part of it that they do have. They do have a social part because you're interacting with other people, and you're not just talking always talking about the game. There's downtime where they're actually having conversation, which I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah,
And
because we don't know how to talk to each other, right? We just yell right now. Like
mhm.
the Gillette ad. What do you think about the Gillette ad?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I was like, oh my goodness.
So, do you want to say what your what was your reaction?
Oh no, I'm not going to tell you my reaction.
You
No, I'm
know,
just kidding.
not
No,
live, but like let's mute this for a second, and
yeah,
I'll tell
no,
you.
that's right. Yeah. Anytime you talk about razors, I have to shave my head and everything else. I have to think. No, I'm just kidding. No.
It was very interesting to me because the conversation that came out from men, especially on Twitter, was so negative. And it was interesting because I'm a foreigner, so I don't see color. I was talking to
Right.
people, and they're like, they only portray the white man as the bad one. You know, the black person was the one who's like, hey, you're not cool, man. And I'm like, really? I didn't even notice that because I'm like, all I see is guys. Some behave
Mm-hmm.
well and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Rogan,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
Joe
that's right.
Rogan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
He's like, what does a company have to do with, like, like, you're a company. Why do you have a moral compass? Because we need that. Because if we don't, you're gonna destroy the earth. You won't care about the water. You won't care about slave labor. You won't, like, if you don't have a moral compass as a company, then we cannot LinkedIn are not yours. Because exactly the same way Google is doing now. They're closing Google Plus, 90,000 followers, right? They're not mine unless I capture them somehow in SMS or in an email or in a website that I own. That's not my audience. So, note to everyone there, please don't build your home on rented properties.
I love it.
If you have,
I love that
right?
statement. I love that statement. I think that's awesome. You said that earlier and I said, "Man, that clicked." I like that.
Yeah, it's such a biggie, right? Because we think, like,
Yes.
especially us, we were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
We felt ownership. We felt
Mhm.
like this was ours, you know and it's not. It's really not ours. The only thing that is ours is if the only thing that is yours is if you have a server in your garage and you
Mhm.
host everything on it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you are under the rules of your email provider and your hosting platform and everything else. So, but it's easy. Like, you can download your email contacts from your email provider and keep it in an Excel spreadsheet on your computer.
Mhm.
So if anything happens, right, you still have your contact. You back up your website, so if anything happens, you still have your website. You haven't lost anything. People know exactly where to go to find you. And a great example is Kimra Luna, who
Mhm.
has a mailing list, and she's doing her meetings on Facebook. And then Facebook went down, and she sent an email and she said, hey, community, come meet me on YouTube. Now, if all her people were only in Facebook and she had no way to access them, she's fucked, right?
That's
She's like,
true. Yeah.
right now, but they're not all in Facebook, so she can be like, okay, fantastic. This house is burned down. Let's meet in this corner, right? It's fine. So own your business is like own your audience. If your income is relying on the stuff that you're doing online. So what you're doing with your community is fantastic.
I love that. I think that's a great point. How do you personally? I'm gonna ask you a personal question here. How do you? Okay, first of all, let me preface this. Do you think a lot of your potential customers or people that you build in your community and people that follow you and you do business with came from Google Plus, or was it a whole different, or is it a
It was
bunch of
different.
things? I mean, is it?
So yeah,
Let's start with that.
so because it was on Google Plus in the
Mm-hmm.
early days, right? If you search now, I think it still works. If you search now for Google Plus expert on search, my name comes up first. And so a lot of people, when Google Plus was like, there was a tiny little sliver on time where people like, oh, we should probably do this because it relates to search. Everybody and their grandmother wanted to interview me, and
Mm.
um, and so now if you look up my name, my site, I don't think my sites come up, but like all my interviews come up, and all of them come from like people talking to other people, seeing my shows, seeing my content, seeing my information. Nowadays it's fantastic because I get people from the people that I interview. So as I interview
Oh,
people on my
nice,
shows,
nice.
right? Because I'm everywhere, and because my guests share that with their audience, and that's actually, guys, a really neat technique. I call it the Oprah technique, or the
Okay.
piggyback technique, right? Because Oprah became famous by basically interviewing people. That's it. That's all she did. She was
Mm-hmm.
human and she connected emotionally to people, but she interviewed them.
Mm-hmm.
And every journalist, like every person on CNN, what do? They don't create content. They don't do anything except interview and have an opinion. Guess what? You can do exactly that.
There you go.
Interview and have
Well, and I
opinions.
love what you said. We were talking beforehand, talking about Sarah Hill. We both know her and everything,
Yeah.
and you made a point about her. That she would talk to anyone. Talk a little bit about that.
Anyone. Yeah, so I have a few friends who now are a little bit snobbish. Like, oh, if you don't have an audience, I'm not going to show up. Um, but I'm like, why not? We all started from somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
right? We all started from zero, really. We all started
Mm-hmm.
from zero, and we all kind of build our relationships and our connections. So
Mm-hmm.
why not, hand up, give someone a hand up, just the same way that your, previous people gave to you. So when I got Hangouts on Air, I think I was the first girl to do that. And I went to all the people with all their millions of followers on Google Plus and I said, hey, can I have you on my show? And they all said yes. And actually, the main traffic source for my website was the keywords Amanda Blaine,
Your
because I
what?
interviewed her. Amanda,
Oh,
remember Amanda
really?
Blaine?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
So I interviewed her, and I interviewed her when she hit a million followers.
Followers. Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, what does it feel like? Like, what are how's it going? Like, you came here with nothing, now you have a million. What it's like? And she was like, it sucks. It sucks because like now, everybody thinks they know you. They
Mm-hmm.
spam you. You lose the quality that you had with the smaller group. Um, so
Wow.
it was a fantastic interview, and that was the keyword because I host all my shows on my own website. That was the keyword to come to my site. So all the
Yeah.
traffic was because I'm on the plane, and then they're like,
I,
nah.
I love that. I think because websites, since the web started, has not gone away. Websites, you can always transfer a website. You can always do that. But it's funny you mentioned that because I always tell like we did this with our company and a couple other people that I've talked to and stuff. If you have to check a little box that says I agree to this, then that means you don't own it.
That you don't own it. Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
true. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. So if you have to do that, you don't own it. Okay. So
It's true, and it's good to take inventory.
yeah,
If this is just for fun, then who cares,
yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
But if
Yes.
yeah, yeah, but if this is your relationships, if this is your friendships, if that's
Mm-hmm.
your livelihood, um, then
Yeah,
you should care.
exactly. And I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. He says, "Oh yeah, I dump all my videos on YouTube because it's easy. You can upload, boom,
Yeah,
it's there, and all that kind of stuff." What if YouTube closes? That's what I told him. I said, "What if they go down?"
yeah.
Oh, they're not going to go down. Well, they got rid of Google Plus. They got rid of they got rid of plenty of stuff. And I was like, you don't own it. Find a way to own it. Get whether make sure you have it is all. That's the biggest thing that I give as advice whenever I do something like that. I said just make sure you have it somewhere other than somewhere that's not owned by you.
Right. I say that, and I don't have all my photos. Right.
Mm,
I don't have all my photos. I don't have all my emails. I don't have all my calendar. I
yeah.
keep everything in Keep.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. I agree. I'm the same way. In a lot of ways, I'm the same way there, and especially photos. Now that you mention that, I trust Google Photos religiously, and I probably shouldn't. But
yeah,
it's really not hard. I mean, some people can't afford this, but I'm just saying there's terabytes hard drives out there that you can download everything off of there and do it like purge it every year and Google Photos has made that really simple to do too. Just to throw that out there for anybody who is that's just a point that you brought up, and I think that's a great point because yeah, you're right. I do the same thing. I have them all over there. So
so you mean purge what? Purge the hard drive or purge your photos?
What's that? To purge, I mean, to push them all over there, it's really easy to do, especially if you do like, okay, take all the photos now and purge them over there and you get them onto that hard drive. Especially
Gotcha.
with the faster speed hard drives now, it's a lot easier to do that. But
Yeah.
you can do that just taking Google Photos and just, go to bed. You can set it up and let
Yeah.
it purge it over, then go to bed that night, and the next day it'll be fine. And then every year it becomes easier because if you just do it by year, because you can,
Right.
that's cool about Google Photos is you can just pull up just, 2019. So all the
Yeah.
photos of 19 will just come over and you could do that. So
So you need to do that I have like two, because my computers used to crash on me all the time. Now I hardly put anything on the C drive. I have external hard drives that are
right,
connected.
exactly. Me too.
Right.
I have two of them. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
two
me
of
too.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the exact same
And
thing.
I don't remember what's on the old one. Like now I'm only using the new one. And so you always kind of wonder, like, okay, when do it doesn't matter anymore? Like at what point it's kind of like, yeah, whatever.
It's true. It's very true. But the more we get away from like photo albums, like that was our family. Our family always had photo albums, yearbooks, whatever. We made picture books. We did all this kind of stuff. And then now it's all digital and it's all online. And hey, let me show you this or let me do this,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So it's nice having it handy, but at the same time, don't throw all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And so when you go live, don't go live only on Facebook, or don't go
Mm-hmm.
live only on YouTube, or don't go live only on, LinkedIn
Yeah.
or Twitter or Instagram and
Spread
stuff.
it
It's
out. Spread it out.
yeah.
Spread the
Yeah,
love.
it could be, how many platforms we've seen come and go. you know.
That's very true. I mean, and Blab's a perfect example. If somebody poured all of they said, okay,
Everything.
I'm
Yeah.
all in into Blab, and then it's gone. I mean, that's a perfect example of those kind of things. So, hey, listen, I need to. I don't want to keep you here all night. I could sit here and talk all night. I'm gonna wrap up the show, but you're going to stick around for a little bit because the community
Yes.
members, I'm going to invite them in and they get a chance. A paid for community. We do have a paid for community. Everybody that's out there, we have a paid for community. You're welcome to come into the paid for and join us. I mean, if you want to join for a month and try it out, see if you like it, that'd be cool. It'd be awesome. This is kind of my push right now for my community and what I do. We do a daily tip. I do a daily tip for everybody. We have these shows like this. We have guests on where you can come in and talk to the guest afterward. I'm going to be inviting the community in just a minute. Yifat, one last time, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I
I love
really
that.
do appreciate it. I really, really do. You do a great job, and I love watching some of your stuff. I tried to I have to admit this. I tried to watch just half of it, and I was like, okay, I can't. I got to watch the whole thing. And I was at work, and my brother kept saying, hey, I need this. I was like, hold on, just wait, because I didn't want to lose my train of thought in it. So I really
Oh, that is so
enjoyed it.
cool. I love that. Which show did you watch?
It was the one that I think it was the one you gave me. Remember the last video you gave me to
With
watch?
video.
With the,
Oh, that I did by myself
yeah, no. The one that,
with
okay.
David Newman.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
it.
man. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one. It was a really good one. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, okay. Thank you again. Thank you very, very, very much. I really do appreciate it. And folks, listen, I will send that out to the community. Thank you. Anybody that rewatches this or is watching right now, thank you very much in the comments. Give a thumbs up anytime. If you like this kind of stuff, if you want to see some other stuff, just let me know what you want to see and I'll be glad to play it for you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.